So we did great during the 90s, made a ton of money. People were writing us 25, 30, 40, $50 million checks. And we were selling software like crazy. And we prided ourselves on having the best engines. And we expanded from configuration to price and commission. All these just esoteric, very hard to do engines that companies would pay us a lot of money for. In 2000, we had a couple big meetings, or a couple big insights, where we decided, wow, maybe we need to change. One of them was with Steve Ward. He now runs Lenovo, the PC vendor. At the time, I think he was CIO of IBM or something, one of our big customers. And he came in and he's like, Joe, we've given you guys a lot of money over the years, and it reminds me of this health club I joined, Joe. What? He's like, well, I go to this health club. I joined a year ago, and I walk in, and it has all the most awesome equipment I've ever seen. Like, it's got the cool stair stepper thing, and all this gadgetry, and like they hook you up and do all this stuff. And I know that in this health club, there is the top of the line equipment. Best products on the market. He's like, but it's a year later, and I'm not in better shape. And I didn't join the health club for the equipment. I joined it to lose weight. And that's sort of like with you guys. I know your stuff's the best on the market. We buy it like crazy, but we're not getting the business value we want. I was like, oh, okay. Well, we signed the contract, and if you don't like it, you can return the software. But it works according to spec. So, second discussion. Jack Welch, GE was a customer. Jack Welch came in and said, we'll call it mentoring. Most of the people in the room would call it being yelled at. Where he's explaining to me that GE Med is not getting an ROI on their software. And I'm trying to explain to him that this product just won e-commerce product of the year, and I don't understand why he's yelling at me, because it's obviously his team's problem, because we have the greatest product in the world. And we build the greatest products in the world, and he explained to me he doesn't care if it's product of the century, comes down from heaven above. If GE does not get an ROI, the product sucks, I suck, Trilogy sucks. And so you're like, okay, well, so you're on the flight back there, and you're like, well, I gotta make this guy happy. This is important, probably one not to burn, like back to relationship. Don't burn one like that. It's hard being an entrepreneur, have these big, hard thoughts. And so I fly back, and I'm writing down on the pad of paper everything we're going to do so that GE can get a return. And first of all, I'm like, I wonder how they're going to get the business value. I don't even know how to use their software, right? And all this stuff. And we write it down. So we go re-engage with GE. We work with them to get them business value. And do the same thing at IBM, right? And talk to Steve Ward. And I guess not to leave that hanging before I jump is, in Jack's last annual report that he wrote for GE before he quit was, we've saved about $1.8 billion through digitization, and one of the companies I want to thank is Trilogy. And so we had obviously been able to switch it. And once again, being that Stanford education coming through, I was like, I bet all our customers would like this. And we realized that we wanted to move from just selling products for tons of money, where customers don't get any value, to actually guaranteeing business value to our customers. So we started in 2000, where we create what we now call technology-powered business services, which is a long way of saying we guarantee the value. So when you engage with Trilogy today, what you actually do is sign a contract that says, Trilogy will deliver to me $100 million of business value. Business value as measured by their CFO. They get to decide. Then after they get that value, they then give us back some of it. Because technology can unleash huge business value. Most of the time it doesn't. Right? A lot of the tech downturn was because the products didn't deliver the value. But when it actually does provide the value, you get it. So for example, we'll give you some examples today. We actually set the price of every Goodyear tire. We create demand forecasts and demand curves down to a zip code level, and we know whether that tire should be $50 or $52. And if they're charging $50 for it and it should be $52, we tell them to change the price. They get the $2. They'll throw us 20 cents or whatever the contract says. Actually, in Goodyear's case, if you look at the back of Fortune magazine, the CEO's like, I installed Trilogy, and 6 months later, I got $35 million. And then they pay us part of that. We do the same thing in automotive, where we watch you on the web. And if you actually go to an OEM's website, one of the big auto manufacturers, we do it for most of them, if you stay on that website for 3 minutes or more, we can identify you as a buyer or not. If you are a buyer, we then start watching what you want. Because most of the time you start shopping 8 to 12 weeks before you actually buy a car. We watch what you are, and then we just make sure that Ford builds it so that when you go to the dealer, it's there for you. And our predictive ability is dramatically better than what the OEMs can do on their own. And actually having a car that you want on a dealer's lot is worth approximately, depending on the car, approximately $1,000 more per, you're willing to pay $1,000 more for that car for one exactly you want, rather than one that's close, but it's not the color and all these other things. If one that's close, they end up having to start to give you free accessories and options that you don't want, but it helps you get you into the white one when you wanted the red one. And then they had to spend all this money getting it there. And how we calculate it is we calculate their order. So they go through and calculate, this is the order we're about to send to the factory. We then look at it and say, oh, you're about to do 20% of your armadas with leather. Consumer demand, from watching people on the web, it's actually 70%. And so why don't you build 70% with leather? That will make you $2,000 extra per car. That delta we get paid on after we deliver it. Those kind of things. And so we create these big services now where the only way you have an ongoing relationship with us is if you're getting the value. And every 6 months they get together, sign off on this widget, and they pay us various amounts. So it's a step beyond. If you're an automaker, it's a step beyond Google's pay-per-click, where their big innovation, which is awesome, is don't just pay broadcast advertising, only pay for people who come to your website. We take it, we're focused on verticals. In the verticals we're in, we take it a step further, which is we only get paid if the guy actually buys a car, right? And so instead of the Google, you get $5 a click, the automakers go into our website and they say, I'll pay $2,500 for every pickup truck buyer that you can sell or find.